Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Welcome to Knoxville Nationals Live on the Sage Fruit stage. I'm Tony Bachova. My co-host today is Wade Onger, and our first guest today is none other than the 2018 Knoxville Nationals champion, Brad Sweet. Give him a round of applause. Well, Brad, I guess there's good news, bad news from last night, right? Last night was a hard night on the racetrack, as we just saw up on the video screen, but the good news is you mustered enough points to be locked in.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I guess it takes a sting out of it a little bit. We had a great night going, timed in well, made it through the all-important heat race, and knew we were in good shape. Tried a little bit of something with our race car for the A-main, and it wasn't handling that great, so we just I just felt like we just needed to finish to put ourselves in a decent spot for Saturday night, and tire blew with 3 or 4 laps to go there, and kind of went for a wild ride, but feeling okay today, and after all that, we still ended up locked in the top 16, so that takes a little pressure off not having to run tonight or having to run a B main tomorrow. So we can kind of just we don't have a lot to lose with where we're starting, so we can be pretty aggressive and hope for the best for tomorrow.
Does it bother you that you're bringing out a new car that maybe you won't have had a chance to shake down?
Well, we actually were running a new car here last night, and the car that we're gonna now have is the car we've been running. So it's not such a bad thing. But every car we have at KKR and our Napa team is always top of the line and usually all handle really well. So my guys do a great job, and I'm sure that they'll bring out another great piece tomorrow.
What's that like being a part of the KKR team? From the outside, it looks like it's almost your team to run, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, Casey's obviously the boss, and he understands that. With him being out here racing and doing everything with us, he knows what it takes to win and how hard this sport is. So we just have a great friendship, great partnership. Obviously, he's the owner, but it feels a lot more like a partnership. We work hard to get sponsors and keep sponsors happy. We work hard to win races. We're great teammates. We're always cheering each other on and sharing information and trying to get each other to go faster. And so yeah, it's a family atmosphere more than anything, and we have a lot of great people there. So it's been a lot of fun over the last 10 years or even longer, but especially the last 4 or 5, we've been really gelling really well together.
Brad, 16 years ago, I made a critical life choice. I was in a hotel room in Louisville, Kentucky, pondering what I was going to do that night. I Googled Bill Cosby was playing live that night, and there was a USAC show in Bloomington. I went and watched you wax everybody at Bloomington that night at a USAC show. If I'd known I was going to watch you win thousands of races after, I would have gone and seen the other guy, but I remember seeing you just blitzing in the non-wing stuff. That has to be some really fond memories of that stuff for you.
Yeah, I've honestly had a great career, a really diverse career. I've been very fortunate to drive a lot of different race cars and go to a lot of different racetracks and drive for a lot of different owners. So, it's been a wild ride. It's crazy how quick it goes by when you talk about 16 years ago.
Yeah.
It seems like just yesterday we were the young guy on the scene, and then this sport moves time so fast. Now I'm the old veteran, and you see all these young kids coming up. It's a wild ride, but yeah, I miss the old days of non-wing racing, but really happy to race with a wing over my head from now on.
Tony, you mentioned before about the KKR situation for him. I'm going to put it out there to Brad that probably one of the real perks of being friends with that team, being friends with Casey, being part of it, is playing basketball with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Because that's got to rank right up there with playing basketball with Happy Gilmore.
There's a lot of perks that have come over the years of being Casey Kane's best friend or really good friend, and not only just being able to drive for him, but we built a really good friendship. So I've got to go to do a lot of things, a normal sprint car driver wouldn't get to do. But, at that point, a NASCAR superstar was able to go, play basketball, go to Super Bowl parties, and do a lot of fun stuff. So great memories, over the years with Casey for sure.
grown up in California and now becoming a promoter out there, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, taking over Silver Dollar Speedway at Chico with Kyle and Colby, my partners, it's been a unique experience to say the least. So you won't hear me complain about too many racetrack activities or anything that goes bad. But it's just it's an interesting business because it's not only are you taking care of a racetrack, you're a restaurant, a bar. You got to take care of equipment. You got to know how to work on dirt. You got to be able to sell tickets. You got to do marketing. A lot goes into an event and even a night of racing. So I think it's definitely one of the toughest businesses you can do, especially when you hadn't done it before. So we've learned a lot, and we definitely have a lot of big dreams for Silver Dollar Speedway and sprint car racing in general. Obviously, we're dabbling in everything, so we want to help sprint car racing. With our knowledge, our reputations, and everything that we're putting in, we want to try to give back to the sport as much as we can.
Well, I think the other part is you're saving a racetrack, right? If guys like you don't come along to step up and want to run those racetracks, it's pretty easy for them to go closed, but real tough to get them back open.
Yeah, it's in California especially. It's a really tough business. It seems like things are moving away from engines and dirty and,
right.
and everything and noise. So we're definitely trying our hardest to try to build events at Silver Dollar and try to get the resources to try to keep the facility open and get fans more engaged and provide good entertainment for the city of Chico.
Yesterday we talked to Sheldon about what it was like for him to engage with the other NOS drivers, right? The other NOS team drivers. What kind of interaction do you have with guys like Ron Capps and other Napa athletes?
Yeah, honestly, the Napa, brand and Napa corporate, they do a good job of getting me and Chase and Ron together, and then they always have another driver in the truck series, or so we're always doing things together. But, we built a relationship. So, Ron pays attention to my racing, so does Chase, and, vice versa. We text and have a good relationship. And, Napa's been on my car for, now 5, 7, 6 years, and they've been on Ron's car for a long time and Chase's car for a long time. So they're very loyal, and, they're a great brand to be associated with, and, obviously proud to represent their colors.
Ron has had a chance to run midgets and stuff like that. Have you ever thought about maybe wanting to get in his car and make a lap?
He always asks me, but not really. Those guys that's crazy.
The weight to horsepower ratio would be way off the scale.
So he thinks I'm crazy. I think he's crazy. But I don't have much desire. I'm a fan of those cars. I think that they're wild. It'd probably be a wild experience, but he thinks we're crazy driving sprint cars, and after last night, maybe I don't blame him.
Brad, for the longest time, the Nationals were dominated by North Dakota, Indiana, throw in a Connecticut, throw in a Louisiana, but the West Coast wasn't exactly a dominant force here, and I say that with respect. Boy, how things can turn around. You throw Carson Macedo, you throw Kyle Larson, you throw yourself into it. It's remarkable how the West Coast is a major force now. And I only mentioned 3.
Yeah, I think the talent pool coming out of California is, it's eye-opening a little bit. Obviously, I'm kind of, the older generation, and then, Kyle kind of drug along, another generation, and now you're seeing Corey Day, shine. So a lot of great drivers, a lot of great talent coming out of California. And we've had some discussions of why that is. I think the talent pool is really big in California. I think California is like 4 different states out there, and there's a go-kart scene that's extremely tough, and there's a micro scene that's extremely tough. And then when you do get to the sprint cars in California, to grow up racing on those tracks, those little bull rings, the skill set that you're able to develop out there, and then racing against elite talent, drives everybody to another level. And then once they get out here and people can see them, they're able to shine against some of the other regions that have developed over the years.
I didn't mention a number 24 car as well that's fairly handy right now at the moment. Boy, Rico has just come on in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I mean, dirt track racing's extremely hard, and Rico's working really hard at it. A lot of your results are how hard you work, but it's the people you put around you as well. And obviously, he's able to put a really good team around himself. He understands how hard it is to get those people people in the right places, and it's taken a long time, and that's what it takes in sprint car racing. It's a lot comes down to experience and and a lot of time out here developing a skill set. And Rico's got as good a chance as anybody to win tomorrow, and that's pretty cool. It's a pretty special feeling when you're on the pole and you feel like you got a car capable of doing it. Those chances don't come very often. So I look for it to be a really competitive and great race tomorrow.
Brad, you raced in the last few years of the life of Parramatta City Raceway, of Valvoline Raceway, with the Roos family to start with, at a Broken Hill that not many people in America had heard of at the time. You ran for Mark Cooper with the Spike for a little while as well. What an experience. You dominated Parramatta. Like, you had an amazing time there. Everyone loved seeing you at the BP Servo with a meat pie and a cold beer later on. Aussies really connect with you.
Yeah, I love Australia. Really love their culture. Loved embracing the culture. Not trying to be, a prima donna American about the food and things like that happens sometimes down there. I tried to really embrace the pub meal and the Australian beers, and I really get along with the Australian fans, and I loved racing at the old Parramatta Speedway. I sure do miss it and miss those good memories that we had. But made a lot of good friends down there and a lot of good fans, and looking forward to trying to get back down there again this year. Don't know what my plans are exactly, but always love taking a winter trip when it's winter here and summer there, and seeing some warm weather and just exploring more of the country.
So I was just counting down here. 7 of the top 16 locked in are California drivers. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know if that's been a stat like that before, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, and if you start really looking at a lot of the races, a lot of sprint car races around the country, you're going to notice that a lot of Californians are involved in running up front. So yeah, it's not surprising. Have you seen it at the Chili Bowl the last few years? It's been talked about. Californians have been at the front of the field or majority of the field, and now you're seeing it here at Knoxville.
So final question as we get ready to wrap up the first segment. You're 16th in points. Going to have a different car tomorrow. What's tomorrow look like for Brad Sweet? What will you do? What's your day look like?
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow I'm pretty relaxed. Obviously, there's not a lot of pressure on our team. We're locked in, which is a great feeling. That's the first goal that you have coming here. Obviously, we want to win the race and contend. But being locked in, now you're part of the show. We don't really feel like we have a lot to lose, so we can be aggressive. We're gonna leave it all out on the racetrack. It's 50 laps, so even starting 16th, we don't feel like we're out of it by any means. We just know that we have to have our car perfect, and we got to have a great first 25 laps. And if somehow we can get ourselves in position, you just never know what can happen here at Knoxville.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have another guest with us here. Hard Knocks Night at the Knoxville Nationals. We're live on the Knoxville Nationals live stage, presented by Sage Fruit. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
My 2004 Chevy Silverado is starting to sound terrible. It would make a loud rattle noise and hesitate when I gave it the gas. I came across Seafoam motor treatment at the parts store and picked up a few cans to try. I am amazed at how good the truck runs now. The rattle's gone and it runs great.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to seafoamworks.com.
And welcome back to Knoxville Nationals Live on the Sage Fruit stage. I'm Tony Bachhoven. My co-host is Wade Onger. And welcome to the stage now, Rusty Hickman. You can clap. It's okay. You're allowed to. So, Rusty, first of all, welcome back to Knoxville. You've had a bit of a tough go since you've been back here. A huge spill at Oskaloosa. Take us through that, first of all, because that's never what we want to see and never what you want to do to start out your Knoxville Nationals adventure.
Yeah, so firstly, we've been coming here. This is our 3rd year now, and just you talk to any Australian, just half-mile stuff. It's really, really hard to get it. We don't have that back home, so always struggling, especially this joint. And yeah, so the Oski thing, it's just part of racing. That one, everyone's trying to get to the front, and cars move around. And yeah, touched wheels, and that was the last thing that. She was a quick one.
How tough is it logistically to be in Australia, know you're coming to Iowa and getting cars and trailers and all that stuff pulled together? What's that like?
I'm probably blessed enough that I've got, between Dave and Janet Holbrook, and, with the help of Bonnie and Jack Allen from J&J, they pretty much do all the organising. I just rock up and drive their gear. I mean, we do most of the work on the car, but yeah, we fly over and everything's here, just in a trailer locked up. The first year we come, it was a lot harder. Had to accumulate all the gear, build the cars and things like that. But now, the more we come back, the easier it is. Right, like from between this time and last year, it was just all sitting in a trailer ready to go.
Yeah. So before I came over to Australia in January, Wade sent me a video about Lee Adams and your family putting a car together with the hand controls, and tell that story, because I don't think people understand. So Wade can better describe who Lee is to the audience here, but what you guys did for him was really first class.
So Lee Adams is a 10 times Australian Speedway motorcycle champion and number 2 in the world. Won many Speedway Grand Prix, and he's an icon in Australian motorcycle Speedway. And Lee raced for over 20 years at the top, retired from International Speedway, came home to ride a bucket list desert safari race called the Fink Desert Race, and crashed in practice and was tragically paralysed. After all those years of riding International Speedway, one of the most dangerous forms of sport in the world. And throughout his whole time, he'd always said to me, I really would love to drive a sprint car. And when he got paralysed, you could probably think, well, maybe that dream's off the table. And I spoke to Darren and Rusty and said, you reckon? You pick it up from there.
Yeah, so Dad obviously knew more about Lee than what I ever did, but because I'm not one to really, I've always been that kind of kid that sort of just, I do my own thing, I get in the car, I race, and so I never really, get into it of who's who and who does what. But so basically with COVID, all the racing got shut down, and Wade's been talking to Dad. They've been organising it about, for a couple of months, and then Dad just comes to me, hey, there's a guy, he's paralysed, he's pretty famous. He wants to get in the car, how do you reckon we do it? And I was like, well, it's like not that long ago, I seen a video from a guy over here who races, and he's paralysed. You see him, the crew help him, lift him in, and he's got this special steering wheel. And I was like, let's just rig something up, let's make it happen. Like, we're pretty bored right now, let's do it. Gets us out of the house, gets us out of the 5K zone. So we just got a steering wheel. Dad got an old push bike brake pedal, and we had cables running everywhere. We didn't actually have a brake because, who needs to stop? We don't worry about that as long as he's going fast. So, we had this little bike pedal cable set up that was like, it moved like an inch and a half, and that was like full throttle of 920 horsepower. So yeah, we got it all rigged up, and we went up to Mildura during COVID, and we're all masked up. So the videos all got masks going on and whatnot. So, but I jumped in the car to start with to have a go, and it was pretty sketchy stuff to start with, and I thought,
and now you're going to put a guy that's never driven one in it.
Pretty much. And then, but the more laps I'd done, I was like, you know what, I'm actually not even worried if I ever got paralyzed one day. I reckon I could do this if we organised the brake side of things. But it was a super cool deal, and he got in it, and he actually got going really well. Like, it was super cool, and out of it all, we become best of friends, family-wise, and I'm pretty sure we're flying home and going to Casey's 21st, like 2 days after we get back. So, super cool deal. Awesome family, so nice.
Absolutely.
Across the way there, I just noticing two ladies that are looking at the giant screen over there. One's wearing a Methanol Moonshine tank top. She actually got proposed to by this bloke just recently. That's his beautiful fiancée, Stephanie, and his amazing mum, Sandy, is standing over there as well, hiding in the background. Those two ladies, mate, and you got two sisters as well. I won't forget them or I'll get shot.
Yeah.
But your whole life is ladies apart from Dad.
Yeah, that's it. One boy out of the three. So, yeah, two older sisters. Bit of a harsh upbringing if anyone knows what that's like. But, no, those two girls over there, they keep us pretty straight. So, no, it's good.
So what's it like for you to come over? You said that you don't get a lot of half-mile exposure at home. Do you adapt to it fairly quickly from the respect of, you start to feel comfortable in the car?
Yeah, I don't think being comfortable is not really an issue, because whether it's half mile or short track stuff, I feel as though we're all, racing's racing, and that I think it's more just, it's car setup, and everyone I talk to, this track's like minute things to set up wise. So, and I think it's extra hard for us because we're all, like my crew are all from Australia, so we don't really know any better. So we're just chasing our tail, and we've pretty much come to a conclusion that it's super hard to come over just for that 1 month and be competitive. The first year was like, we're going to do Knoxville Nationals, for the fun of it. But after that, it's not fun running down the back anymore. So, we want to be competitive. So I feel as though the only way to do that is to either come over and just stick to short track stuff until make a name for yourself, or we get some help from some Americans. But other than that, I think we just need to stick to short track things. So
we've claimed him as ours, but what kind of advice has Skip Jackson given you in your time here?
Yeah, well, I think it was the first or second time we come here. We got a practice night, and super cool that we had Skip come down, and he was actually one of a few that I actually knew who he was. So I was like, that's cool. Probably from that song song that you were singing with
the Dirt Track Cowboys song.
Yeah. Wow, that's probably where I knew him from. But super cool to have him give us a hand, and he just said, just don't let the car setup thing get to your head. Just get comfortable and just really minor adjustments and get comfortable, because you're not going to rock up here and you're not going to be a top runner straight off the bat, and I get that, which really sucks.
And don't turn at the flag stand, right?
Don't.
Yeah, that's it.
That was the first thing he said, don't turn at the flag stand, because every Aussie does that. You know, Tony, I think if this wasn't Knoxville, it would be almost pointless for Aussies to come to a track this size, because I don't know what you learn from it to take back to Australia with these. You're almost better going to California or the Midwest or Indiana or Ohio and those places run quarter miles, because there's not much benefit in that for you.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that I can say is coming over here and between half mile and short track things, the way that the Americans drive over here is next level, and I tip my hat to the guys, because we're running wheel to wheel and barely touching Discardowski. But they can run night in, night out, and barely wreck, which is super awesome. Back home, that's not really a thing, because we just run weekends, and people just wreck and we fix them.
One of the things that Rusty impressed Gavin White and myself at Warrnambool, unfortunately on a couple of occasions, if he wrecked, he would come straight to us, Tony. He would seek us out. A lot of drivers don't even want to know about a microphone at the time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Rusty would actually walk to us and apologize to his dad and to his team and say, I'm really sorry. And you know what happened? You picked up a sponsor of that, Rusty. You remember the car wash guys? Because someone came down out of the crowd and they're like, this is a really good lesson for any young drivers out there. Always use the chance to use the mic. Because they come out of the crowd and they're like, I like that young man. We want to sponsor him.
Yeah, so, I've always just been brought up to, we work for what we get, and the amount of effort that Dad and that puts into the car and myself in the shed, and, try not to be a spoilt little brat. So, and I know what the cars are worth, and although it's not actually coming out of my pocket, but it still hurts. I don't like wrecking gear. I don't like wrecking my own gear, let alone someone else's. So it hurts when you do wreck things. So I always get the chance to apologize and just thank the sponsors, because, we're back home. It's just Dad's deal, so sponsors do help. But, just an older couple come down and said, love the way you talk, love the way, you thanked everyone and apologised, and especially to Mum, because she doesn't like it when I go upside down. So. But,
Now you have another lady that's not going to like it very much either.
That's why at Oski I try to get out of the car as quick as I can to let them know that I'm all right.
Well, one of the things I thought was interesting when I was in Australia was that the amount of people that came to me and said, do Americans pay much attention to Australian sprint car racing? And I think it's interesting because my first thought was, well, of course that we do. Of course we do. Like, for the Nationals, people are counting on the list how many Australians are coming, or why are there only a couple Australians coming? So don't ever underestimate your impact and your presence at the Knoxville Nationals, no matter where you run, because it's really important to the American sprint car scene to have gassers like yourself here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, cheers. Not really sure what to say.
That's good. He's not often he's caught short for words, Sandy and Steph. That's well played, Tony.
Thank you.
And I appreciate what you said, too, on behalf of our country. That's a really nice thing to say, mate. Thank you.
Yep. So stay tuned. Keep your eye on this guy, because he's going to, once he gets some more laps here, he's going to be turning heads, and you're gonna notice him for reasons other than being a spectacular yard sale on the front stretch at Oski. So we're glad he's okay from that, though, nonetheless. Stay tuned. When we come back, we've got another great guest coming up here on Knoxville Nationals Live on the Sage Fruit stage.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for racing in the dirt. With high horsepower demands, ARP delivers maximum clamping force and performance. When failure on the dirt is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
You're messing with some forces that your mind can't comprehend. I done been to the bottom, I ain't going back again. So when the hell you think you're playing with now? You don't fall around and let the wolf out. And I'll be prowling while you sleep. You were playing for fun, I'm playing to eat.
Are you looking for the best made in the USA racing components? Look no further. DMI Racing Components and Bulldog Quick Change Rears are built tough, built to win, and built in the USA. DMI components are designed, developed, produced, and shipped by experienced winning racers in the heart of central Pennsylvania. From late nights in the shop to 2 a.m. car washes, we know what it takes to compete, and we know you deserve the best. We race, you race. Let's race together.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime.
Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go.
And welcome back to Knoxville Nationals Live on the Sage Fruit stage. I'm Tony Bachhoven, that's Wade Onger. And our next guest is a familiar name around these parts, Austin McCarl. Austin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Austin, first of all, we got to talk about the important thing. Where's Cole?
He's actually at Grandma's, about 5 blocks that way. Yeah, she's my in-laws actually live pretty close to here, and Grandma Lisa's been busy.
So, new dad, what's that been like for you?
Definitely the cliche of sleeping less is real. That's a real thing. But other than that, it's been great. Like I've said before, I mean, Alyssa right down here does 98% of the work. So it's been pretty easy so far from my standpoint, other than the lack of sleep part. But no, Alyssa kicks ass, and it's been amazing so far.
And I chuckle. They've already got kids gear.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the guys this tall, they've already got kids gear for them.
Oh, we got. Oh yeah.
He's a McCall. He knows where there's a dollar somewhere.
Turn those dollars. That's right.
Your granddad was the subject of some cool discussion this morning, Tony, wasn't it?
Oh,
when we were
really?
talking to Rocky Hodges
Yeah.
about his time driving for your pappy. And boy, I mean, the respect
pappy.
that you have, you know, that in your world, with your name, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, especially here. I mean, I think that's why it was a lot of the reason why it was so important to me last year to stick that thing on the pole. I mean, there's a million reasons, right? But biggest race of the year, biggest race in our game, blah, blah, blah. But to me, it was a lot just about my name, too. I mean, that means a lot to me. Like, I feel like a lot of these kids don't know the history of our sport, which is a kind of cliche thing or whatever. And, I mean, nobody's fault. But I feel like some of these little kids I'm racing against now don't even really know who Steve Kinzer is. As weird as that is to say, and, like, didn't really get to see him racing. You know, they see Donnie Schatz, but I mean, the little bit that I got to see Steve, it was pretty damn amazing, too, you know? So, you know, a kid like Ryan Timms he never got to see him race, which is kind of, well, probably did, but was too young to remember. And so that to me is sad. But to answer the question, yeah, I mean, just to carry my name on, my legacy, I hope to fill those shoes as best I can. Obviously not in every way, shape, or form or whatever, but you try and just do your best. And, you know, we love this sport. It's definitely in my blood. I mean, I remember being a kid and staying at my dad's side of the family, at Leonard's house, staying over the night and getting up in the morning and going to the engine shop with him and just loved it. So, yeah, that's a big deal. It was a big deal for me last year to do that, and the history of this place. I feel like it'd be weird if there wasn't a McCarl here on Saturday night, you know. So it's I don't know. It's been awesome, and hopefully me and Carson together can carry that legacy on for a long time, and Cole maybe one day. Who knows?
For those that don't know, Austin's grandfather was the legendary Leonard McCarl, and one of the things that Rocky talked about this morning was Leonard didn't go out and buy
had Rocky
stuff.
on.
Yeah, we had him on our breakfast thing this morning. One of the things he talked about was that Leonard wasn't out buying parts at Haps or any of those places.
Oh, no.
He was building it all himself. And
100%.
And one of the things I think is cool that maybe not a lot of people know is a lot of sprint car chassis design originated in Des Moines, Iowa.
Between
your
Trossel
grandfather and Trossel.
Absolutely, yeah. The history that down on that east side of Des Moines now is pretty crazy, actually, in this game that, you know, we'll probably, I don't know, that no one will remember either, but it's awesome. It's my grandpa built everything. That's what I'm saying. Engines, cars. I mean, he was an amazing guy. I wish. He's a bit of a dying breed. I feel like I have a little bit of his blood in him, you know, on the mechanical side and being into that type of thing. And I don't know, a guy like that could my dad tells a story of him he crashed somewhere in Arizona, and Leonard welded up a wing post with an iron hanger, shit like that. That's just that most people today don't have those skills.
Figure it out, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, everything's built by a CNC machine or
Well, what did
whatever.
Rocky say? He come back in, the thing's all twisted up, and Rocky's like, "That's cooked," and he's like, "Oh, we'll fix that."
Oh yeah. Get a couple chains out in a porta power, and you can make a lot of stuff happen, man. He always told my dad. Sorry to interrupt you. He always told my dad if that rear end's square to the motor plate, the rest of it don't mean nothing.
Well, and that's almost what Rocky said this morning. Was he crashed somewhere and bent the front of the car over about 4 inches.
Yeah, it might be the same story.
And he said Leonard kind of looked at it and said, "I can fix it." And Rocky said, "I got in the car and the frame's bent. I can see the frame's bent, but we went out there and won the heat race or something like that." I mean, Leonard was one of those guys that could look at something, and to your point, if the rear end's square to the engine plate, just drive it.
They just knew mechanics. They knew mechanical stuff and why stuff was the way it was and what worked and why, doing ladders and all this stuff. Carl Kinzer, I think why Ricky Warner and Paul Silva, kick everyone's butt is because I think they're a lot like that too, So, I don't know. I don't know. I miss guys like that. You know what I mean? Like
you're in a unique situation where you come from a family that's got a lot of history here, and now you're making your career in a car that's got a ton of history here.
Absolutely, yeah.
The O'Phil car, the '88 car. Wade and I were talking the other day that there's cars that you recognize by a sponsor name. There's cars you recognize by a paint color. That's one.
Rudine will always go down with that beautiful blue.
Right.
Yeah. No, Weld and O'Phil and the whole O'Phil family have given me an incredible opportunity and making my dreams come true and given me a chance to really race against some of these big teams and do it the right way. And Weldon's made that car. Yeah, definitely famous on the West Coast. Sorry, but no, it's an amazing opportunity. They're an amazing family. We say all the time, it's no secret that the O'Phils are like family. I mean, I don't hardly remember ever a time watching my dad grow up that Country Builders wasn't on our car somewhere. And I don't know. It's an amazing, it's an awesome feeling. I wish they were here right now. Hopefully they're sitting at home watching this, but. I don't know. It's awesome. They give me everything I need, and it's a very family-like atmosphere, and they give me free reign to do what I want to do, and which is awesome. And no, it's been amazing. And to carry that deal on, my dad and all that stuff I feel like, again, to kind of go back to the earlier question, to figuratively carry the torch means a lot to me, and it means a lot to perform well. And, yes, I want to win. I want to win for them because they do a lot for me and have given me an amazing opportunity, and I just want to give that back to them in reward and success. So hopefully we can do that this week and get through the B main tomorrow, and keep that going.
What was it like to sit on the pole of the biggest sprint car race in the world a year ago?
I don't know. It's pretty surreal, to be honest. It's an amazing feeling. I'll never forget my dad running to the scales, and I thought we were fighting somebody. But he was like kind of teary-eyed.
Why would you have thought that?
No, I didn't know. I was just like, man, I don't think I got into anybody, or nobody chopped me pretty hard going into three or something.
I thought we were fighting somebody.
No, I didn't know. But he was in a great mood, and I was just like, what's going on? And he's like, I think we're on the pole. And you can see him up there just doing the numbers in his head, like he's always doing. He's like, I think we are. And I was just like, holy cow. And luckily, we ran fourth, so I didn't have to go to tech, so we got to roll back and like kind of figure it out, and waited, I think, for you to actually announce it before anybody believed it. And no, that was an amazing feeling. Doing the 4 wide, everyone asked me about the 4 wide and stuff. I never really got nervous. To me, I felt like I was fast enough, and this might sound kind of, I don't know, the wrong way, but it wasn't shocking to me that I did that. I believed in myself. I thought we were fast enough to do it, running here every week, and things definitely went our way, drawing early, and being in the 5th heat race lets the track kind of widen out. I mean, things definitely went our way, but I felt like I'd earned it just like anybody else, and I felt like I could win that race. To me, like, we'd ran well with the Outlaws prior to that and crashed or whatever, and I felt like we had speed. Like, I felt like, I think I said it in a different interview, but I felt like if I'd have won that race, I'd have been the least surprised guy. You know what I mean? I believed in myself. I believed in my little team. I believed in my motor. I believed in my car, and I felt like if things went the right way, then I could get the job done. And obviously it didn't work out, but I felt like we hung in there pretty good until that tire, went away or blew up, whatever, and kind of killed any chance. But no, that was an amazing feeling, something I'll never forget. And this is something, again, that probably at the end of the day will mean the most to me because of carrying that legacy on. I think it's like Kinzer, Saldana, and McCarl, father sons, to start on the pole of the Knoxville Nationals, and my dad was a huge Joe Saldana fan, and with Kinzer and Saldana and McCarl, that's pretty cool to me. Yeah.
So there's a beautiful lady standing over there with this very proud look on her face, looking at you.
That little unit.
That's your beautiful wife. I made the comment to Tony. In fact, I was at Houston's when I said it, and Tony immediately texted, "Oh, there she is on screen. Give us a wave, darling." There she is. I called you the Ewings, and I mean that in a really positive way. That's not a piss take at all. That your dad's a bit like J.R. Ewing, mum's a little bit like Morgan Fairchild. Like you're a powerful family with beautiful wives and a lot of passion in what you do. I watch your poor mum. And she paces from pit, but some nights there's 3 of you in one race.
Brutal. I know.
Can you even imagine?
Oh, not as being a mom, but it's a lot of work for all of us. I know. So and she's getting it from all 3 sides, 3 angles. Happy, if one guy does good, it's brutal.
She was doing that last night. She was going literally from pit bay to pit bay.
Uh-huh.
How important are the ladies in the McCall household? Not just racetrack wise, but to give you a sense of balance.
Oh, huge. I feel like, I don't know, not to sound cliche and girly, but that's my rock over there. I mean, she does so much for me behind the scenes that I don't want to do, don't have time to do a lot of times, and she's very good at. Just social media, for example. I'll openly admit I am not a social media guy. I'm probably a little too old school, like my grandpa in that way. Probably need to grow up a little bit. But and she takes care of all that for me and does a great job. All the merchandise sales. I mean, 90% of the time you're talking to her and she's doing it all and working a job and raising a kid. So, I mean, my mom did the same thing. So it's amazing. And hearing my pissing and moaning all the time about whatever, and things didn't go my way or whatever. Dealing with that. But no, it's awesome. We both have great families. Lisa and Larry, my in-laws. I'm super lucky to have some of the best in-laws in the world that support me more than anybody even knows. So they're amazing.
So real quick before we wrap up here, 20th in points. Yep. What's your thoughts? What do you think?
I wish it was 2009 and I was locked in. Are my thoughts. But no, I felt like we had a really good car last night. I totally threw away qualifying. That was 100% on me, and just tried to do your best in the heat race. It was pretty bottom dominant there, and just got to second and kind of had to hang on and not lose anything at that point and maintain. And starting 11th in that feature, there was a lot of tough guys up there. But again, I knew if the racetrack was kind of coming in to fit our style or more towards a more quote unquote local style racetrack.
Yep.
And I thought it was just kind of coming to us, and it did. I felt like I didn't know I got to 4th there for a minute, and I really wish it would have went nonstop. Is my true thoughts, because I think we had a chance to go to Tech. So, no, I had a great car. I mean, I felt like we did about as good as we could have. Some things didn't go my way. Those restarts, I actually ran out of fuel on the white flag lap, and I was pretty nervous about it the whole race. And I wasn't buzzing my tires or doing anything to try and get heat in the tire. And I felt like it would take me kind of a couple laps on restarts to get back going again and get my wing speed back up. And Logan kind of showed me the bottom in 3 and 4 there late in the race, and I went down there and I didn't feel too fantastic, but I felt okay. Like if I could do a couple things different with my feet, I could run it better. But I don't know. I wish it just would have went nonstop and we could have just seen what happened, and I wouldn't have ran out of fuel, and I think we'd have had a chance, but maybe not to win at all, but I think definitely podium, and that would have been pretty awesome from 11th. So my dad won his prelim night from 9th in 2014 or 15, which was a pretty good race, and I thought we had a chance at doing almost that. But no, I feel good going into Saturday. I mean, like I said, I feel like we have a pretty good base to unload with, and I feel confident in whatever the Duncans kind of throw at us, Mother Nature and the racetrack, and we'll just have to roll with it, hopefully get a good start, and we get a whole feature, right, in the B. So goal is just to be in that top 4 at the end, and then try and turn 50 good laps. But you got to get there first. It's we're not there yet, and I definitely know that. So we got to go bust ass and have a really good race car for 22 laps and see what happens.
He's going to be fun to watch, folks. Give him a round of applause. That's Austin McCarl. Stay tuned. When we come back, we've got one more guest. Chase Randall will join us on the Sage Fruit stage.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
It's going to be Kenna McIntosh, 08, victorious tonight.
This is a story of grit. The kind of grit that built America. We're born from more than 180 years of grit. We're the underdogs, the lean, hungry, gritty ones. We're reloaded to help our customers do more work with less sweat than ever before. We're the new Case.
Welcome to NOS Energy Endurance Challenge 2.0. Today's challenge is going to demand everything you've got. This year, the Volkswagen Beetle is back.
Let's go, boys!
Oh, we're screwed.
Hey, jack it up!
Welcome back to Knoxville Nationals Live on the Sage Fruit stage. Hard Knocks Friday night at the Knoxville Nationals. The quickest chicken joining us now, Chase Randall. Chase, good to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And it's been a good week so far for us. It's my first national, or my second nationals getting to be here, but my first one racing, and it's been an awesome experience. And for me, my first time driving it, and to see all the fans and all the experience I've gotten to do with all the autograph sessions and the interviews and everything gets to do around town has been pretty cool and an awesome experience so far.
So Bush's Chicken sponsored the chicken feed last night. Were you down there grilling chicken or no?
No, I wasn't grilling, but I was in the back kind of helping out and of course eating the awesome chicken. It was really cool to have, and to get that again. I didn't have it for several months since I've been back in Waco, so that was nice to have again for
Hey, I got to tell you something about chicken that you might not know with this family, and I learnt this in Australia. They don't eat chicken on race day. That's considered bad luck.
That's true.
That is not helping your industry, mate.
No.
Imagine if we all did that. Oh, no, it's race day. Speed week, you wouldn't eat for a week.
No, it's kind of
When did that start?
So that kind of no chicken on race day started from my dad. Back when he used to race, he would go to the track, eating some chicken, on the way to the racetrack, and he then proceeded to flip really big that one night, and then had it a couple weeks later, and flipped pretty big. So therefore, after that, there was no more chicken on race day.
Now, we were at Borderline Speedway, Mount Gambier.
Yep.
Your mum had the soup, because the soup is a big thing at speedways in Australia. It was chicken and vegetable. And I looked at it and I was like, oh! He's out on the racetrack. She picked the chicken out of the soup and put it on the grass next to her. It's a thing, isn't it?
It's very true.
I was too scared to. I thought, I'll sneak a bit of chicken. I thought, nope. If he flips his DICK out of the place, I don't want to be responsible.
It would have been your fault.
Oh, I know it.
So you've had a really awesome season here this year in weekly competition. Been to Victory Lane 3 times. You've won at Huset's. What's been the magic for you and your team? Is it that your dad's wrenching on the car, or what has it been?
I mean, I don't know. It's just I feel like we're all working together so well. My dad's has been been spinning the wrenches on my race car for forever, and me and Danny are working really well together, communicating, and we're all just kind of just having a really good time. I think is the biggest thing. We're enjoying going to the racetrack, and we just love what we do, and going up and down the road as much as we do, spending all the time together in the shop and on the racetrack is really special for us to get to do that, and the success that we've had kind of helps with that, and a lot of confidence comes from there, and just having a really good time, here and traveling up and down the road has been really fun.
You've adapted to this track pretty well, it feels like to me. Watching you run longer in the race you go, man, there's been some things that you've done on the racetrack. I'm like, holy cow, this guy looks like he's been racing for 25 years. What is it about Knoxville that's fit your style so well?
I just think the big tracks I've kind of grown to like, and have so many laps here at Knoxville, racing all of last year and all of this year, and just a lot of research and doing a lot of studying to figure kind of the lines out and just figuring out in the race car, because once you're out on the racetrack, there's not really much that my dad can do or anything like that, so it's up to me and to do my job the best I can. So it's just to kind of figure that out and just learn every lap I get on the racetrack.
There's a difference, Tony, I think, between cockiness and intention. When you guys were coming down to Australia, I said to your dad, just lower your expectation a little bit. We're pretty good down there. And he's like, we're coming to win. And I said, yeah, I get that. But just lower your expectation because we're pretty good down there. We are coming to win. That is a focus, and it's not cockiness, not arrogance. That is your mindset with you and your dad, isn't it? Like, that is the only result. I saw you were being hugged and consoled the other night when you ran second to Donnie the other night. Like, you were devastated, and we're going, what a drive. You are so focused, aren't you?
Yeah, that was one of those, especially on Wednesday night, that was one of those moments where I felt like, the only thing that I wanted that night was to win, and that opportunity was right there in front of me. I just came up a little bit short, so that was one of those moments where I'm going to look back on it and see that feeling and kind of where I need to position myself to get better. But just like you said, that's our goal. Is every night we go out to compete to win, and we don't show up to run second. So we kind of take everything that we learned from each night and show up the next one to win, and that's kind of every night we choose to do that.
How old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
He's not 12, so I wanted to make that clarification. But I ask that so that people know how old you are, because, and I text you this the other night, watching you race Donnie like you did, swapping slide jobs, passing him, you earned a great deal of respect from Donnie Schatz the other night just in how you guys raced. But you took a guy that's won 11 Knoxville Nationals championships and made him have to get up on the wheel. That's got to make you feel really good. Even though you didn't get that win that you wanted so badly, you need to take a second and say, that's right, Donnie, I'm here to win, and I'm here to beat you.
Especially, yes, definitely for sure. Like I said just a minute ago, at that moment, right after the race finished, I was kind of disappointed. But after having a few days to kind of look back on that and see kind of what we did and racing Donnie how I did with how far we've come with my team just in a few short races, I feel like before the Nationals, we made huge gains. And for me as a driver, that was huge for in the future and in kind of any races that I go to, and especially racing Donnie that hard. I wasn't gonna make it easy on him, and I wanted it just as bad as he did. So to compete like that for him was really cool to me.
At any time during that, did you think to yourself, holy shit, that's Donnie Schatz?
I did.
I did.
I wasn't even in the race.
At the time, I wasn't trying to think about it too much because I wasn't going to race him any differently than anyone else. On the racetrack, everyone's the exact same, and you're all competing for the win. So to do that was really cool for me, and something I'll cherish for a long time.
What impresses me just as much, Tony, is he's a quality person.
Yeah.
And I think we learnt that in Australia. The Aussies fell in love with him. He broke his 410. Your career started in Australia. I'm going to claim it. I'm just going to claim it. Never driven a 410 in your life before. You went to Murray Bridge for your first ever show there and ran like top 5 and all night top 5. But you're so grounded, mate. Like, where's this come from? Is it mum that keeps you grounded, or because dad's driving you forward all the time? Where's the balance come from?
I think it comes from a lot from my mom, I feel like, but I think it comes from our whole family aspect of, we don't really have anyone else to. I mean, we do now, but we haven't in most of my whole career. So it's just been us and my mom and dad, and to go up and down the road like we have since I was 5 years old when I first started racing quarter midgets, and it's been like that my whole career almost. So that's kind of been one of the things. It's just a family race team for us, and we don't really take anything for granted. You know what I mean?
Tony, you learn a lot from people, and you know this. When you interview someone and they look you straight in the eye, that's quality. That's where you learn it. He's engaged, and you saw Rico this morning, right? Rico was locked on anyone who spoke.
Right.
He's just got it, mate.
Absolutely, and you talk about a family team. The 2KS is another family team, right? So you go from your family team into Troy and Tammy's team car. How did it make you feel to bring their car right to the front the other night? Because, I think arguably some people would say that they've struggled a little bit trying to find the right chemistry with driver and mechanic. And it seems to me they've found that now. And, boy, you guys put that car right up in the front, and it's a contender for sure.
Yeah, I just kind of showed that the car is capable, and everyone on the team is able to do, to compete for the win at the biggest stage. So for me as a driver, it was really special to give that to them because they deserve it more than anyone. I know they work so hard. Troy is, we've gone, back and forth trying to figure out, what we can do to make the car better, every week. And each one of those guys that's a part of the team, they work countless hours to give me the best race car that they can. So for me, it was, it was really awesome to give that to him. And after the race, giving everyone a hug and, congratulating them because I know I was devastated, but they were all, cheering up and down for that. So it was really, cool for me to give that to them, and I can't wait to see what we can do on Saturday for 50 laps.
You did something else that you may not realize. You made Troy Renfro smile.
Boy, that's a Knoxville Nationals win right there.
Yeah,
because KS stands for keep smiling. It doesn't, but they're great. He's so focused. He wants it bad.
Just so much experience there.
Yeah, you said that Troy keeps smiling on Wednesday night, and I was laughing so hard at that. I'd never heard that before.
Well, this weekend, the big race is coming up. Tell us what you're thinking about for Saturday.
Yeah, right now I'm just extremely focused for it. I've done, as much as I can this whole year to prepare myself for, each race and especially for this one, to be mentally prepared, for such a big race and just the job that I have to do. And I'm going to go out there and do the best I can for every lap. I'm not going to give up, one of them and just finish the best we can. And that's kind of wherever we finish is where it's going to be.
So you may be from Texas, but you're officially a Knoxville regular now. So a Knoxville regular locked into the top 16 at the Knoxville Nationals. Pretty darn cool. Great job.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's Chase Randall, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to watch him on Saturday night. Tomorrow, we have another great show coming up. We have Dave Argerbright, who's going to be joining us. We have Donnie Schatz, and we have Tony Stewart. We'll be here on the Sage Fruit stage tomorrow, so make sure you come back and join us again at 5 o'clock. We want you to enjoy tonight. First of all, the Hard Knocks night. It's going to be exciting. There are some good cars that have a long ways to go, and you're not going to want to miss a lap of it. So thanks for tuning in on Dirt Vision to the Sage Fruit stage. Thanks to Chuck Sink, our friends at Sage Fruit, for the apples. Did you know that apples were bowling balls? I learned that today. Thanks for watching us and enjoy your night.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
You're messing with some forces that your mind can't comprehend. I done been to the bottom, I ain't going back again. So when the hell you think you're playing with now? You don't fuck around and let the wolf out. And I'll be prowling while you sleep. You were playing for fun, I'm playing to eat.
You say you can't wait to get to the track to pick up the latest World of Outlaws gear? Slide on over to worldofoutlaws.com to get your NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars and Case late model hats, decals, hoodies, and other great souvenirs. Buy $50 worth of merchandise and get free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. Why stand in line? Buy your Outlaw gear online. Visit the Outlaw General Store online today at worldofoutlaws.com.